Hey guys, welcome back to another episode in the Kotlin series. In this episode, I'm going to introduce you guys to classes. Alright, so now things should get even more exciting. We're going to be moving on to a type of programming called object-oriented programming. This is a programming paradigm that deals with classes and objects as a big part of your programs. And so far, we learned about the basics of Kotlin, about functions as well, and functions are great for organizing your programs into specific parts that you can reuse, but we can also use classes to create essentially custom data types that holds both data and behavior such as functions. So as you'll see, we'll be able to make our programs even more complex and learn something that's a really big part of modern programming, which is again object-oriented programming. Okay, so let's start off by understanding what a class is. We can create a class within a Kotlin file by doing class, and then we want to give a class a name. So like I told you guys before, a class, you can kind of think of it as a custom data type. So currently we have things like int, double, boolean, string, but there's no type for something like a person or a car, anything abstract like that, anything complex. So you can use a class to represent that. So we can do class person, for example, and then we could open that up with a curly brackets. And then a class usually has something called properties, which is what a person has. So I just want you to imagine in your head, if you created your own custom data type, what makes a person a person? Okay, so usually a person might have a name, so we can give it a name. So var name, which is a string type, and we can give it a default value of, let's just say John. And I'll explain more of this in a second. But a person may also have an age, so var age, which can be an integer, which has the value of 20. So those are two properties for this person class that we've created. So one is a name, which is a string. The other is age, which is an integer, okay? So a property is simply the data that a class has. So every person has a name and an age. It's what makes the class itself, what makes a person a person. So besides properties, you also have another big thing, which is the behavior of the class. In other words, the class functions. So class functions. And this is what a person can do. So if a property is what a person has, a class function is what a person can do. Because as we learned before, functions in Kotlin is basically a grouping of code with a name that does a specific thing. And it's the same exact thing for classes, except that the function is related to what a person can do. So just try and come up with something that a person could do, like maybe a person speaks. So you could do function speak, open that up. And now you can have any code inside of here. So we could do something like, hello, my name is name, and I am age years old. As you may have noticed here, we're actually using the data that lives within the class, which is common for the function, right? This is a class function because it lives in this class here, so it makes sense for it to usually operate on the data of the class itself, right? There's no point in having data as part of a class if you can't do anything with it, right? So this is just a simple example of something that you can do with that data. So you can read the data and you can print it out, for example, okay? So that is the basic architecture of a class. We have properties and we have class functions, what a person has and what a person does. And so you can think of this as a blueprint, but we don't actually have any people, any persons, right? Just like you can imagine behind the scenes, there's a definition for int or string. It doesn't actually mean much if you can't use it. So the way we usually use the other data types is by making variables, right? So we can do the exact same thing with our person class. We can create an instance or an object, as it's called, of a person. It's really easy. All we're going to do is create a new variable. So val person is equal to person. Use the class name that you came up with. Just make sure it's the same case, so capital P. That's also a common convention when naming your classes. Make sure you have a capital letter with the first letter. So yeah, do person and then end it with a opening and closing parentheses. So what you have just done here is instantiated a new object of the class person. So you're taking this blueprint that you've defined here and created an actual object of that type. So now you have an actual person that lives in the person variable. So you can call it person 1, person 2, whatever you want to call it, okay? And you can create as many as you want. So you could really name this person 1 and person 2. So now you have two different variables, but these are two completely different people, two different persons. The class is the blueprint and the actual objects are the living, metaphorically the living instances of a class, okay? So with these two people that we have, these person objects, since the class definition here defines each person as having a name and an age, each object that we define will have that name and age. And also, if you look closely here, we gave them a default value of John and 20. So these objects that we've created will have those default values because we have not overridden them. So I'll show you how to do that in a second, but the question is now, how can we access the data of a class object? It's really easy. So let's just print out, for example, person 1 dot, and you can see that we have a couple of options here. So we have speak, which is our class function, And then we have age and name. So these are the class properties that we can access. So we could do name, for example, but we can also print out person1.age. So let's run this and see what happens. There we go. So we get John and 20. So we have just accessed the name property of the person1 class and also the age property of the person1 class. But this person1 class also has the speak class function. So we can actually call that by doing person1.speak. Okay, let's try this out. And boom. So it says John, 20, and then hello, my name is John and I am 20 years old. So that is how you can access the data within a class and also call a class function. Now we have two objects here, person1 and person2. They're both going to have the same data as I described because we're not overriding the defaults that it already has. It would be more useful, of course, if these people that we create can have unique identities, if they can have different values for these different properties. So a person1 can have a different name than person2. So to actually change the value of a property, like name, for example, we can do person2.name is equal to, and then you just reassign it just like any variable. So we can do Cody, for example. So now if we do person2.speak, we should now get Cody, and then Cody is 20 years old. So let's try this out. Boom, there we go. So we get, hello, my name is Cody, and I'm 20 years old. We can also do the age. So person2.age is equal to 23. My name is Cody, and I'm 23 years old. And you can do this as many times as you want, just like any other variable that you have access to. So now at this point, you guys should know how to create an instance of a class, how to access the data within a class using the dot operator, that's what that's called, and then also how to change the properties of the class, how to change the values within them, and then also how to call class functions. So if we go back up to our class definition here, our little blueprint, we can play around with this just a little bit here. So I suggest you try adding more properties to make this as detailed as you want it to be. You can add more class functions as well. You can have as many as you need. So we learned before that when you're creating a basic variable like, I don't know, val age is equal to 23, if we use val, this essentially makes the variable read only or immutable, meaning that once you set it, you cannot change it. You can only read the actual value of the variable. But if we change it to var, this makes it so that you can change the value of the variable whenever you want to, okay? So it's mutable. Same thing goes with these class properties. So a class property, if we make it var, just as we saw below, we can change it to whatever we want, right? After we create the object. But if we make it val, this is no longer going to be changeable. Now this is only a read-only property. So this part still works. We're only accessing the value within the property and printing it out. Same here as well. We're doing print line and printing the name. But here you can see that we have an issue. It says val cannot be reassigned. So because name is created as a val property, a read-only property, you cannot reassign it. So we have to comment this out or get rid of it. Same thing for age. So if we made age a val or read-only, you can now not reassign it like we've done here. So that is no longer valid. So this is pretty useful when you have properties within a class that you know are going to be read-only or don't need to be changed once you actually create an instance of the class. We'll see in the next episode how we can actually pass dynamic values to these variables here, but for now they have to have these default values. So once you create a person, it has to have the age of 20, and it can't be changed if it's a val. But if you make it a var, it can be changed, okay? So what I mean by that is if you take away the default value assignment, it no longer works. It says property must be initialized or be abstract. So we're going to learn about a few different ways we can initialize those values, but for now, in this basic tutorial, just always give it a default value, okay? That is the basics of creating a class within Kotlin. Let me give you another example. So something that you commonly do when creating classes in Kotlin is you create them in a separate file. This allows you to have more organization because a file can be specifically for a class or a few classes. You can have multiple in one file, but it's very common to have one file per class just because you'll know that that file is specifically for that class. There's more space for that class to be defined as they get more complex. And it's just purely for organization, okay? So it's up to you because as you can see, we can define them in any file, just like that, okay? Anyways, with that said, to create a class file, you just right-click source or wherever you want to make it, do Kotlin class / file, and then select class instead of file, and then just give your class a name. So we'll call this car, okay? So you can see that it's still a Kotlin file.kt, but it created this little thing here for you, which is nice. So just like before, we want to first define the properties of our car class. So what makes a car essentially, right? So a few things would be like the make of the car. So make can be a string. And we're going to give it a default value of Tesla. And we can have another like the model, say the Model 3. We can have another one like the year, which can be an int, 2024. And then we could have other things like the speed of a car, right? Which can be another int. Or let's just make it more precise, a double, because that's more realistic. And that could be 0.0 to make it a floating point number. So these are just a few properties that I came up with on the fly to define what makes a car a car. And besides that, we also have the behavior of the car. So what kind of functions can we add to this car class? So one can be like function info. So this could be really simple. It could just print out like the make, the model, and the year. So you could call this function if you really easily want to see what type of car it is, what the type of car a specific object is. I'll show you that in a second. Another function that we can have something like accelerate. Accelerate is something that a car does. So we could say speeding up, and we could have speed plus plus, which will increment the speed by 1. And then we can also have brake, because a car can brake, which will slowing down. And we have speed minus minus, and this will decrement the speed by 1, so just decrease it by 1. So I think this is a pretty good class definition. So we have some good properties here and also some good class functions to define what a car can do. So now back in our main file here, we can create an instance of our car class. So we'll simply do val car, or how about Tesla car, is equal to car. So that will create a new instance of the car class. So this is an object. And then now we can do Tesla car.info, and we'll just see what that gives us. So I printed out Tesla Model 3 2024. That is because, hold Control by the way and click it, and it'll take you to it. This is because the default values for these properties here that we're printing out is Tesla Model 3 2024. Okay, so that hopefully that makes sense. But if I was to change that, we can do Tesla car.year. We could set the year to 2012, for example. If we run this class function again, there we go, we get Tesla Model 3 2012. We can also play around with the other class functions, so Tesla car.accelerate, and then we could do sout Tesla car.speed, and then we could brake the car, print it out again, just to demonstrate that the functions can modify. There we go. So when we call accelerate, it's going to print out speeding up and actually increment the speed property. And then it's going to print out that speed property value. And then it's going to brake. So it's going to decrement it by 1. And then it's going to print out 0. So I think it's important to point out that you can directly modify the values of these class properties within the class itself in these class functions. So we can have class functions that not only print the values of these properties that we have here, but we can also have class functions that modify the values of these properties here. Very often that's what they'll do. They actually modify and change things. And if you wanted something other than a Tesla Model 3 2024, of course, all you got to do is create a new instance of that, do car2. So because we don't have any other way to pass in values for creating this car, we'll learn about that next episode. To actually set it as something else, we can do car2 dot make. We can do, for example, Toyota car2 dot model. We'll do Tundra 1992. Okay. So now if we do car2.info, we should see that information printed. There we go. So we get Toyota Tundra 1992. Perfect. Now the very last thing I want to show you guys is that whenever you're defining these properties here, we're currently setting the types of the variables or the properties, right? Just like we would do with a normal variable, but you don't actually have to. You can also have it be implied. So now Kotlin will just infer the type based on the default value that you set it. So just like a normal variable, you can do that for properties as well. And that's it. So that's the basics of how to create classes within Kotlin. This is an introduction to object-oriented programming, and now you can see why it's called that, because once you have defined your classes, which makes up the data and the things that you can do with the data within a class, within a program, you can then create objects of that class. So that's what it's all about. It's literally just pretty much about creating objects and the different ways you can work with classes and objects and all kinds of cool stuff we'll learn about in the future as well, okay? So hopefully you guys found that interesting. Play around with it, see what kind of cool things you can create, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. So that's it for this video, everybody. I really hope you learned something new. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Make sure to also check the description below for important links to code and other resources, but also really important, join our Discord. We have a big community of over 5,000 programmers, and it's a place where you can find new friends or get help on any code that you're stuck on. If you want to support what I do on this channel, please consider hitting the join button below, and this will allow you to support my channel for as low as $1 a month, but there are different tiers to choose from if you want to. For anyone that becomes a member on my channel, you get a special rank on my Discord server, early access to new videos, and you can just see yourself on the screen right now. So if that sounds cool to you, feel free to join. If you don't want to, that's fine. If you can't, that's okay too. I really just appreciate you watching the video anyway. Thank you so much. And that's it. Peace.